Dear children, we start our last module, module 4, separable extensions. Okay. So first let's see the definition of multiplicity of 0 of a polynomial. Right. So let f of x be a polynomial in capital F of x. Now let alpha, element of f closure, be a 0 of this polynomial f of x. Then we say that alpha is a 0 of multiplicity mu if mu is the greatest integer such that x minus alpha raised to mu is a factor of f of x in f closure of x, which means x minus alpha raised to mu divides f of x, but x minus alpha raised to mu plus 1 does not divide f of x. Alright, that is, anything which is greater than mu does not divide f of x. That is, mu is the greatest integer such that x minus alpha raised to mu is a factor of f of x in f closure of x. Alright, so now let's have a look at this theorem. Let f of x be irreducible in capital F of x, then all zeros of f of x in f closure have the same multiplicity. That is a very powerful theorem. That is, if you have an irreducible polynomial in capital F of x, then all the zeros of f of x in f closure have the same multiplicity. Alright, so let's have a look at the proof. So let alpha and beta be the 0 of f of x in f closure. Alright, we have to prove that multiplicity of alpha is same as the multiplicity of beta. Okay, so since alpha and beta are any two arbitrary zeros of f of x, we can conclude that this is true for all the zeros of f of x. Okay, so basically ultimately we have to prove that multiplicity of alpha is equal to multiplicity of beta. Okay, so I have the field capital F. Alright, so from f of alpha onto f of beta, I am defining the conjugation isomorphism psi of alpha beta. How does this work? This maps f, psi maps psi of alpha beta maps f onto f, and it maps alpha onto beta. Okay, so this is how the conjugation isomorphism works. So this is that isomorphism is what I have defined here. Alright, now by the corollary of the theorem 3.6, that is corollary of isomorphism extension theorem, we can we see that this conjugation isomorphism can be extended to an isomorphism tau from f closure onto f closure. So if you have an isomorphism tau like this can be extended, or you can define a natural isomorphism tau x from f closure of x onto f closure of x. How do you define this tau x? That is tau x restricted to f closure is going to give you tau. Alright, on any element of f closure, tau x gives the same value as what tau gives, and x is mapped to x. That is, tau x of x equal to x. Now what about tau x of alpha? Tau x of alpha is going to be beta. Why so? Because this is basically an extension of psi of alpha beta, and psi of alpha beta maps alpha onto beta. Therefore, tau x also maps alpha onto beta. Alright. Therefore, I am considering the polynomial x minus alpha raised to mu, or a factor x minus alpha raised to mu. Alright, where mu is the multiplicity of alpha. Okay, so x minus alpha raised to mu is the biggest factor of x minus alpha in f of x. Alright, so then what will be tau x of x minus alpha raised to mu? It is going to be x minus beta raised to mu, because tau x of x is going to be x, tau x of alpha is going to be beta, and tau x for any other element of f closure is going to give the same value as tau. Alright, therefore tau x of x minus alpha raised to mu equal to x minus beta raised to mu, where we have taken mu as the multiplicity of alpha. Okay, now since tau x is an isomorphism and x minus alpha raised to mu divides f of x, we can conclude that x minus beta raised to mu also divides f of x. Okay, so x minus beta raised to mu is a factor of f of x. But what is the biggest factor of f of x in the terms of x minus beta, that is going to be the multiplicity of x minus beta. Okay, sorry, multiplicity of beta. Okay, multiplicity of beta is the biggest integer having x minus beta as a factor of f of x. Alright, therefore this multiplicity of beta is going to be greater than this value mu, because multiplicity of beta is the greatest integer such that x minus beta raised to that divides f of x. Alright, therefore multiplicity of beta is going to be greater than this mu. And what is mu? Mu is the multiplicity of alpha. Therefore it is not just greater, it is greater than or equal to. Alright, when I said I just said greater, it is greater than or equal to. Okay, therefore we can conclude that multiplicity of beta is greater than or equal to mu. Alright, and mu is nothing but multiplicity of alpha. Therefore multiplicity of beta is greater than or equal to multiplicity of alpha. Okay, now to prove that multiplicity of alpha is greater than or equal to multiplicity of beta, we consider the reverse mapping psi of beta alpha from f of beta onto f of alpha. Using this mapping we can prove that multiplicity of beta is less than or equal to multiplicity of alpha. Alright, so from these two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, we can conclude that multiplicity of alpha is equal to multiplicity of beta. Alright, now let's have a look at this corollary. If f of x is reducible in I've made a small mistake here. This is supposed to be if f of x is irreducible in capital F of x, then f of x has a factorization in capital F of x of the form a into product over I x minus alpha I raised to mu, where alpha I are the distinct zeros of f of x in F closure and a belongs to F, your field. Alright, this follows directly from the previous theorem, because in the previous theorem we saw that all the zeros of f of x have the same multiplicity mu. Alright, therefore if alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. are the zeros of f of x, then how can you write your polynomial f of x? You can write your f of x as the first zero, x minus alpha 1 raised to mu, times the next zero, x minus alpha 2 raised to mu, times etc. whatever be the zero, x minus alpha I raised to mu, and so on. Whatever be the zeros of f of x, I can write all those zeros. Using all those zeros, I can write f of x in this form, because all the zeros have the same multiplicity mu. Alright, and suppose your f of x has the coefficient, that is the coefficient of highest power of x has a factor a. Alright, then you can write your f of x as product over I x minus alpha I raised to mu times a. Alright, what I mean is, if your f of x is the form some a x square plus something, alright, then I can take this a outside of all the terms and then you factorize the remaining. Alright, so your f of x factors in capital F bar in F closure of x as a times product over I x minus alpha I raised to mu, where a is the coefficient of highest power of x. Alright, it follows directly from your theorem. Next theorem, theorem 4.2. If E is a finite extension of F, then your index E over F divides the degree E over F. Alright, so it's given that E is a finite extension of F. Therefore, you can write E as F of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha, and that is a finite number of elements of E can be used to extend from F to E. That is, if first you extend using alpha 1 and see that f of alpha 1 equal to E. If it is not, take another element alpha 2 and see that f of alpha 1 alpha 2 equal to E, and so on. We had discussed this procedure We had discussed this theory in theorem 8 of module 1. Alright. So if E is a finite extension of F, then E can be written as F of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n, where alpha I are elements of F closure. Alright. In particular, alpha I will be elements of E also. Okay. So now let irreducible of this alpha I over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1, let this have ni distinct zeros, each of multiplicity mu I. Alright. That is, this is the irreducible polynomial corresponding to alpha I over the field f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. Alright. So alpha I is definitely going to be a zero of this polynomial. Like that, there are ni distinct zeros, each of multiplicity mu I. That is, if you consider the irreducible polynomial of alpha 1, it is going to have all the zeros of that are going to have common multiplicity mu 1. If you are going to consider the irreducible polynomial corresponding to alpha 2, alright, the irreducible polynomial corresponding to that, all the zeros of it are going to have a multiplicity mu 2 and so on. Alright. So this alpha I, the irreducible polynomial of alpha I over the field f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1, let this have ni distinct zeros. One of them is alpha I. So it has ni distinct zeros, each of multiplicity, all of common multiplicity mu I. Okay. So if a polynomial has ni zeros and all the zeros have multiplicity mu I, then what is going to be the degree of that polynomial? The degree of the polynomial is going to be ni mu I. Alright. So if the irreducible polynomial has a degree ni mu I, what is going to be the degree of f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. That is going to be same as the degree of the irreducible polynomial. That is, the degree is going to be, or the index is going to be ni mu I. Okay. Now I have to find what is the other index, curly bracket. Alright. So for that, I am taking irreducible of same irreducible polynomial, irreducible of alpha I over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. Okay. We have taken that this as ni distinct zeros and one of them is alpha I. Okay. So this mapping, that is the mapping psi from f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I to f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I, leaving f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1 fixed. That is the conjugation mapping psi from f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I to f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I, leaving leaving the field f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1 fixed. Okay. So this psi, it maps, where will it map alpha I to? Okay, it will map alpha I to another alpha I, not the same alpha I, it maps alpha I onto one of its conjugates. Alright. That is the conjugation mapping. Conjugation mapping maps alpha I onto one of its conjugates. And what is a conjugate? Conjugate is nothing but the root of this irreducible polynomial. Alright. Therefore, alpha I is mapped to some root of this irreducible polynomial. Alright. Therefore, in how many ways can we construct psi? The number of ways psi can be constructed will be equal to the number of distinct zeros of this irreducible polynomial. Alright. If there are n options for this, if there are n roots for this irreducible polynomial, alright, then there are, this alpha I has n different values, isn't it? So your alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I can be mapped to the first alpha I, that will be one isomorphism, the next alpha I will be another isomorphism, etc. The nth alpha I will be the nth isomorphism. Okay. So the number of ways of defining psi will depend on the number of distinct zeros of the irreducible polynomial. Okay. So therefore, since irreducible of f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1 has ni distinct zeros, alpha I can be mapped to just can be mapped to one of the ni distinct zeros. Okay, so the number of ways of defining f of alpha 1, the number of, not the number of ways, the number of isomorphisms of f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I, fixing f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I minus 1, that is going to be ni. Alright, therefore I am just have a look at this. The degree of, let me see if I can bring both in the same frame. Oh, no. Yeah, so this, the index of f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I over f of alpha 1 alpha, so this is the degree, isn't it? Degree of f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I over f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I minus 1 is going to be ni mu I, and this ni we just saw that it is that f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I over f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I minus 1, isn't it? So this is, we just got that this is what is ni. So for this value of ni I can substitute here. Alright, so that is how we get the next statement, that is f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I, the degree is equal to the index of that times mu I. Alright, now by corollary of theorem 3.7 and theorem 6 of module 1, we can see that those two theorems where, that is, we proved that index or the degree k over f equal to k over e times e over f, and the same thing we also saw for the index of k over f, that is equal to index of k over e times e over f, where k is contained in e and e is contained in f. Alright, so using that theorem I can prove that, so if this is true for any alpha I, f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I, the degree of f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I over f of alpha 1 alpha 2 etc alpha I minus 1, if that is what is that, ni mu I, then e over f, the degree of e over f is going to be product over all ni mu I, and the index of e over f is going to be product over ni. Alright, so from here we can conclude that this the curly, that is the index of e over f divides degree of e over f, because we can clearly see that this divides this, right? This is some n1 n2 etc nk, and this is some n1 mu1 times n2 mu2 times etc nk mu k, so definitely this is going to divide this. Therefore the index of e over f divides the degree of e over f. Alright, so next we are going to define what is a separable extension. Okay, so a finite extension e of f is a separable extension of f if these two quantities are equal. Okay, we just saw that the index e over f divides degree e over f. Alright, so if those two have the same value, that is if the index e over f is equal to the degree e over f, then we say that such a finite extension, okay, such a finite extension, we call it a separable extension. Alright, so in fact here we are restricting our discussion to the case of finite extension only. Okay, so hope you got the definition of a separable extension. A finite extension e of f, you call it a separable extension of f if the index of e over f is equal to the degree of e over f. Now an element alpha in f closure is said to be separable over f if f of alpha is a separable extension of f, that is f of alpha over f, the index is equal to the degree of f of alpha over f, sorry, this is the square bracket. Okay, so if this happens, we can say that alpha is separable over f. Okay. Now, how do we say an irreducible polynomial is separable? Okay. An irreducible polynomial f of x is separable over f if every 0 of f of x in f closure is separable over f. Okay. You take any 0 of f of x, it will be separable, that is it will satisfy any 0 alpha of f of x will satisfy this property. Alright. Then in that case we say that the irreducible polynomial f of x is separable. Okay. So next is an example of a separable extension. So in fact we already saw this, that the index of q root 2 root 3 over q, that was 4, and we also saw that the degree of q root 2 over q, that is also 4. Okay, so these two, the index and degree, are both equal. Therefore we can conclude that this is a separable extension, that is q root 2 root 3 is separable over q. Okay. Now next is a small result, that is alpha is separable over f if and only if irreducible of alpha f has all zeros of multiplicity 1. Okay. So we will be using this result over and over again while proving our remaining theorems. Okay. So keep this in mind, that alpha is separable over f if and only if irreducible alpha f has all zeros of multiplicity 1. Now how do we prove this? So let's have a look at the proof. So to prove this, basically we have to prove that this quantity, that is the index of f of alpha over f, is same as the degree f of alpha over f. Now what is this f of alpha, the degree, the index f of alpha over f? That is the number of distinct zeros of irreducible of alpha f. We just saw that in one of the previous theorems, because the psi from f of alpha onto f of alpha, this is not exactly alpha, this is any other 0 of the irreducible polynomial. Okay, so this conjugation isomorphism, fixing alpha onto its conjugate, okay, sorry, such a conjugation isomorphism will map alpha onto its conjugate, or will map alpha onto another root of irreducible of alpha f. Alright, so the number of roots of irreducible polynomial will be the number of distinct isomorphisms. Okay, so the index f of alpha over f is going to be the number of distinct zeros of irreducible alpha f. Alright, now what is this going to be? This is the degree of the irreducible polynomial. Okay, so since alpha is separable, these two are equal, that is the index f of alpha over f is same as the degree f of alpha over f. So these two are equal means what? The degree of a polynomial is equal to the number of distinct zeros of the polynomial. So if the degree is equal to the number of distinct zero, that means what? Every 0 has to be of multiplicity 1. Only then it will happen. You can take any polynomial for that matter. If the degree is equal to the number of distinct zeros, that means every 0 will be of multiplicity 1. Okay. Therefore, alpha is separable over f if and only if every 0 of irreducible alpha f has multiplicity 1. Okay. So from this result we can easily conclude that an irreducible polynomial f of x is separable over f if and only if all zeros have multiplicity 1. Alright. So next is theorem 4.3. If k is a finite extension of E and E is a finite extension of f, then k is separable over f if and only if k is separable over E and E is separable over f. Alright. So this is separable. Sorry. Yeah, k is separable over f if and only if both of these happen, that is k is separable over E and E is separable over f. Conversely, if E is separable over, if k is separable over E and E is separable over f, then we are saying that k is separable over f. Alright. So let us have a look at the proof. So we already know that the index, the degree k over f is equal to k over e times e over f, and the index k over f is equal to k over e times e over f. Okay, so it's given that k is separable over f, that is the excuse me, the degree k over f is equal to the index k over f. So from here we can conclude that these two are equal, that is the degree k over e times e over f is equal to the index k over e times e over f. Okay, but we already know that this index k over e divides degree k over e, and index e over f divides degree e over f. That is, these two things happen from the previous theorem. Okay, degree k over e divides index k over e, and degree e over f divides index e over f. Sorry, index e over f divides the degree e over f, isn't it? So this is what is happening here. That is, you have, if these are four numbers a, b, c, d, then ab is equal to cd, and a divides c and b divides d. So for this to happen, the only possibility is if a equal to c and b equal to d, because since a divides c, we can say that a is less than c, and also a is less than or equal to c and b is less than or equal to d, right? So, and also ab equal to cd. So if, since all these are positive numbers, isn't it? They are all numbers, k over f, k over e and all that. So from here, these two we can say that ab is less than or equal to cd, right? A less than or equal to c, b less than or equal to d, therefore ab is less than or equal to cd. But it was already given that ab equal to cd, therefore a has to be equal to c and b has to be equal to d. That is, your index, your degree k over e is equal to index k over e, and your degree e over f is equal to the index e over f. Alright, now have a look at the corollary. If e is a finite extension of f, then e is separable over f if and only if each alpha belonging to e is separable over f. Okay, so let's go to the proof. So first let us assume that e is separable over f, and we have to prove that each alpha belongs to e is separable over f. So I am assuming that e is separable over f, and let alpha belong to e. I have to prove that alpha is separable over f. Okay, so since alpha belongs to e, I can write f is contained in f of alpha, and that is contained in e. Okay, so if this happens, alright, it is already given that e is separable over f. Therefore, by the previous theorem, we can conclude that e is separable over f of alpha and f of alpha is separable over f. Right? This is by theorem 4.3. Alright. Therefore, we concluded that f of alpha is separable over f. Or if f of alpha is separable over f, that means that alpha is separable. Okay. So, alpha is separable over f. We have proved that. Now, we have to prove the converse. That is, suppose that each alpha belongs to e is separable over f. We have to prove that e is separable over f. Alright. So, we have assumed that every alpha belonging to e is separable over f. Alright. So, that means for every alpha belonging to e, f of alpha is separable over f. Now, we have to prove that e is separable over f. Okay. Now, since e is a finite extension of f, it is given in the statement that e is a finite extension of f. Therefore, you can find alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n in e such that e is equal to f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n. Alright. You can, since e is a finite extension, you can write e as f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n. Alright. Therefore, this inequality will hold true. Not inequality, this containment will hold true. That is, f subfield of f of alpha 1, that is subfield of f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. That everything is a subfield of E or f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n. Alright. Alright. Now I am taking q of x as the irreducible of alpha I over the field f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. Then definitely q of x is the irreducible of alpha I, right? So definitely q of x divides irreducible of alpha I over f. Okay. Now since alpha I is a 0 of irreducible of alpha I f of multiplicity 1. Why does that happen? It happens because alpha I is separable over f. Therefore alpha I is 0 of irreducible alpha f of multiplicity 1. Alright. And also alpha I is 0 of q of x also, because q of x is the irreducible of alpha I over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. Alright. So look at what is happening here. Alpha I is a 0 of irreducible alpha I over f, and alpha I is a 0 of q of x. But q of x is dividing irreducible of alpha I over f. Therefore we can conclude that alpha I is 0 of q of x of multiplicity 1. Did you get that? I'll just explain this once more. Now q of x is irreducible of alpha I over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. Then definitely q of x will divide irreducible of alpha I over f. Okay, you can just take an example and verify this. This is very simple to see. Alright. So q of x divides irreducible of alpha I over f. Okay. Now alpha I is a 0 of irreducible alpha I of multiplicity 1. Okay. This polynomial, this irreducible of alpha I, has alpha I as a 0 of multiplicity 1. Alright. And q of x is dividing that polynomial. Alright. Therefore alpha I is a 0 of q of x of multiplicity 1, because already q of x has alpha I as a 0, and q of x is dividing this irreducible of alpha I over f. Right. And this irreducible of alpha I over f has alpha I as a 0 of multiplicity 1. Therefore since q of x divides this, q of x also has alpha I as a 0 of multiplicity 1. Therefore we can conclude that alpha I is separable over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1, because alpha I is a 0 of q of x of multiplicity 1. Alright. That is f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I is separable over f of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1. Okay. So therefore by your theorem 4.3 we can conclude that E is separable over f by conclusion. Okay. So in our next lecture we will see what are perfect fields. So that